Hello and welcome. This is Namir and the third of this video series of mental yoga, investigation into life and reality. The last talk was about the phenomenal world, the world that we experience with our senses, using principally light to come to conclusions about how we experience the world and what we can know about it. This video is coming closer towards us to our experience of a body. Which we identify with as being us. So it's a good idea to look to see whether the body, how we experience the body. So if we take the light aspect, you look at we looked at the yellow flower in the last video. And we realize that it is not actually yellow, its yellowness, its properties are created in my imagination. And this is what Einstein referred to when he says reality is merely an illusion. And he added, although it is very persistent. Everything we know about the world around us is our imagination. Now, what about our body? Now, first thing is, okay, look at the color. How do you know your skin is a certain color? Well, if it's true for the flower that it is yellow, then it is true for your skin that whatever color it is, you image it, you imagine it based on its ability to reflect or absorb light coming from the sun and your inbuilt imaginative faculty, first of all. And the other properties of your body in the same way. Now, that goes for what we can smell and, in the normal experience of life. But if we also look at the anatomy of the human being, we will find that it is made up of many things: fats, skin, bone, blood, organs, fascia. And each of those has its own sensual properties. It's slippery, it's this color, it's that color, it's cold, it's warm, it's hard, it's soft. All of those are recreated in our mind. Now, it is very important to understand that anatomy, our understanding of anatomy, comes from doctors, anatomists, scientists cutting up bodies. That's how we know that we got tendons and muscles and nerves. Cutting up. So just as you look at the flower and it's yellow and you make an image of it in your mind, so the anatomist looks at the body open in front of them and creates an image in their mind. right? So hardly any, I think, anatomists open their own bodies to see. So the body is a piece of the world in the same way as a flower is or any other object is, with one different exception. Our nerves extend throughout our body. So there is a level of interaction. So whereas I can see the flower, you know, if somebody cuts the flower, I don't feel pain. Whereas I can see my finger, somebody cuts my finger or I cut my finger, I do feel pain. Because as it were, it is important for me to maintain the integrity of my body, and pain is a way of signaling that something's gone wrong. It's a warning light that something's gone wrong and I need to do something about it. And the other aspect in which I am linked further to my body, that I am not with the flower, is that by force of will, I can raise my arm, turn it, and lower it. And that is a very interesting feature of having a body. And I can't do that with any other aspect of the reality out there. But in all other aspects, this body of mine is imagined by my mind. At least that's what science would have me believe. No? Because its color, its shape, its sound, all those things, even the solidity of the bone, the scientists will tell you, well, although it is actually very hollow, but it's, solid matter is not solid matter. It's empty space, but we are somehow engaged in a kind of illusion, that we cannot go through it. So all the physical world, including our body, with its extra intimate connection of sense feeling and the ability to move, is linked to our mind. So we are conscious of being able to move our bodies, and we are conscious something goes wrong. This is the same as when you are playing a game, a virtual reality game, and you have what you call your avatar, and you go into the virtual world. You are conscious of that body and you use it to move. And if you get hit, because a lot of these games, because of the nature of avidya, are violent, then you feel a signal comes up. I don't know exactly, telling you. Or it's similar to if you're driving a car, and if you get a flat tire, then a signal light comes on warning you that the tire, that is, for example, pain. And if you turn the steering wheel, the wheels go. And that is being able to move your body inside the world. Again, this is not easy. This is like doing a handstand in yoga or some other convoluted asana. No, these are mental asana, mental posture that is not easy, but it is supported by reason that anybody, if they take the time and patience, can come to this understanding. Already the parts that we are conscious of our body is not much. It's basically the skin, and we move the muscles. We don't really know what's going on with so much of it. It just works by itself. But we identify with this. Forehead, nose, eyes, beard, graying hair, and so on. It's all created in the imagination. And now we come to the most delicate part is that neurons, so the brain, most of us accept the idea that the brain creates consciousness because it's very, very complicated somehow. Through its complexity, it creates self-awareness. But if the flower, just to keep us on firm ground, we don't know any of its properties except the ones we imagine, then it's reality, and our body is also part of that imagined world in which everything is part of our imagination. So the flower, my body, the space between us is all imagined. And of course, in that, of course, is the brain. And again, it's important to realize that the brains that anatomists studied are other people's brains, dead people's brain, and they cut them up and they see it's a gray color, it's a white color, it's squiggly, it's soft, it smells, it doesn't smell. And deeper until you get to neurons and so on. Again, they are working all the time, although they don't realize it, with an image created in their mind, in a world created in their minds. So it is your mind which creates this image of a separate brain working away, which then you assume creates consciousness or mind, even though for all the sophistication, science has not been able to explain that, and it's called the hard problem in philosophy. And that big error all comes from believing the world as it appears to be instead of how logic and sense of truth reveals it to be. So your brain is just a very, very complicated flower, which is somehow, it's the last drop-off point of information before creating the big show, which we call reality. So your brain is a bit like the screen you're looking at now. It presents. But the idea of a brain inside a head, inside a body, inside a world, is all imagination. Again, these are not, things quickly entered to. If we wish to free ourselves from the serious problem of being trapped inside if it is a problem for us, the world, and living in ignorance. We can. People do. I mean, anybody who's read Plato, and I haven't, but I do know Plato's Cave. This is what he's talking about. Many people are happy. But yoga is to free you from suffering. And the big disease, the suffering that is avidya, is ignorance. And that is the cause of all the other sufferings. So it's quite important. I would say it's a duty of us to set ourselves in reality and not in illusion, to be real. So please go through this again. Thank you for listening and think about it. And you can write to me if you want, as I say, and we will proceed further on to the next steps. Okay, thank you very much. It's been Namir. Thank you. Bye.